Logic, how do you know I'm not recording right now?
Um, because you're having a conversation like a normal person,
Oh, really?
He does that a lot.
and like, I don't know, you're not trying to maintain a particular string of events.
Okay. All right. He lives.
Because like, if you were recording, there'd be some signifier that it was happening. Like, you'd probably say you were recording,
Okay.
You'd
all
be
right.
surprised.
or there'd
You'd
probably be a
surprised.
theme.
You haven't watched the previous podcast videos, have you?
Wait, are you recording right now?
Into the podcast room we go. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hey,
Continuum is not going to show up, is he?
Oh, he will.
this thing just went green.
Get in here, you fuck. Get
Also,
in. Get him.
Also, it's
Yes, he's
There
here.
we go.
hey. Also, I may intermittently be posting images of Penny from RWBY into the group chat we made.
Okay.
Okay.
Figures is fine.
Hello, all, and welcome to the Fandoms and Fuck All podcast. I am joined here by a good friend of mine, Logic, and another good friend of mine, Continuum. And those are the only
I
friends
also
I have. Imagine. And I am also joined by my co-host, Snickerman, who is also my friend. I have a lot of friends. Three maximum.
I like how you had to pause and say after before you said everyone's name.
After
Because
each
the working
fucking
memory of a
one.
goldfish.
Oh, this is scripted. If you didn't know, so I have like cue cards, like I'm reading from cue
No,
cards.
I refuse to believe you have cue cards.
I don't care if this is unscripted. You talk to us on a fairly regular basis.
Yes.
Also, I don't care if this is unscripted because the beast has been released. All in fair warned, I woke up today and chose violence.
Very natural.
Yep.
Very Dober.
I'm interested. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna warn
Because-
everybody for the podcast, for this episode specifically, we're gonna bitch about RWBY, all four of us.
Yeah, but before we
Oh,
get to
boy.
that, I just wanted to say that there are some things that I have enjoyed,
Yeah.
despite issues that will be brought up
That
in
is
a
fair.
Yeah.
bit. And
You
I
can
want to give
enjoy
props
some.
to the writers and not the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also like to bring up that even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That is
I love how these two are like vaguely merciful, and I'm just Doom guy. I'm just like.
Is this the part of the
Character
podcast?
Down.
Is this the part of the podcast where you're gonna go in on RWBY and then Snake and Continue are gonna be like,
Oh
wait
no,
a
I'm
minute,
gonna
hold
do
on,
so.
wait.
I'm gonna do so intermittently. I'm gonna do so every so often as we go from topic to topic. It's like I'm gonna
It's
let it
gonna
breathe
be-
for a bit before I come back in with the hammer.
It's
Okay.
gonna be a drip feed. It's
Drip feed.
yeah.
At least
it's
they'll-
like we got a whole IV bag here. It's a lot of poison. We're gonna do very
Okay.
slowly.
So
Yeah.
before we get into things, Wolfhead, how far into the series have you seen?
I have seen damn near all of it.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
For those who haven't seen it, watch as much as you damn well please before listening in, because there's going to be
If you want to.
spoilers.
There is.
If you don't
There's
care
gonna be
about,
a lot of spoilers. And if you're gonna watch it,
yeah,
I'm not advocating, but I'm also not saying not to never use Rooster Teeth's website.
it's like it is up to you how you view your media. The same as
Yeah.
it's up to us.
I'm not actively advocating for you to use a different site.
Would be a shame if someone were to pirate these episodes.
Would
But
suck if someone were to stick it to the rooster in the
Yeah.
teeth, so to speak.
Yeah, but we're not the police, you know. Like we're not. If someone were
I'm
to,
getting hold on. I'm getting flashbacks to that one Red versus Blue episode where like sister meets Washington, and she's like, "If you're a cop, you like you totally got to tell me you're a cop. And Washington's like, that's not a thing. That's not. Paraphrasing, basically what they said.
Oh, but we are definitely not internet cops, and we will not like rat you out if you choose to like theoretically, hypothetically watch these on any
like,
other site besides Rooster Teeth's site.
It's like, do whatever you want legally, ideally, but I'm not gonna bitch at you if you do something small time.
Yeah.
Like, don't dox people, but watch your shows on whatever you want.
Yeah. Can we dox the RWBY crew? Can we just say their full names?
No, we can't.
I mean the characters from RWBY. What did I say? The RWBY crew?
Also,
yeah.
Okay, that brings up a weird question.
Yeah.
Fictional characters in stories that we watch through their perspective or around their perspective.
Yeah.
Aren't they technically already being doxed as we get to see everything they do?
Yeah,
If
let me
RWBY
just dox this character that I can't get to without a dimensional gate.
if RWBY was being doxed, like the character RWBY was being doxed, wouldn't someone kill her dad?
What?
What? Okay.
What?
First of all, you need to find someone who could, because they also have Crow on hand, and like up until Volume 8, he's actually really, really good at hurting people.
But Crow's an alcoholic, though.
Taiyang, though? That not anymore.
I mean, I feel like Crow would defend the Xiaolong / Rogue household just because, you know, he's a bit rough around the edges, but he cares about them.
He was there. But then maybe you just run into Raven and then you're fucked.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about Raven. I keep forgetting Raven as a character. What is wrong with
So
me?
did Rooster Teeth.
God damn it!
It's like kind of just sits there adjacent to Taiyang's house and does nothing from that point onward.
I would like to start out with Raven now that we're talking about that.
Okay.
And the fact that...
Wait. If I can continue before you start, I need to post you something so that we know how to paste this real quick.
Is it an outline for this thesis?
There we go. Because I want to make sure we arrange things in sequence.
Yeah, for sure. That I'm definitely. Yeah, that's for later. But it is pretty well known as far as I'm aware that they have not utilized Raven like at all. If you even know who Raven is anymore at this point, because the writers obviously don't.
It's like context for the uninitiated and just anyone who's forgotten. Raven Bronwyn in RWBY is many things. A colossal cunt, a terrible mother in quotations, and you want me to let loose?
Oh, go ahead.
Wolfhead, am I okay to let loose?
Bro, go off.
Raven's a cunt.
Why did you say it like a South Park character?
That's in their character. It's by design, but it doesn't make me hate it any less because they're very much the strong live and the weak die kind of person, and it's just like, okay, so when that Darwinism inevitably takes someone you care about, are you gonna bitch? Because you seem like the person who would bitch.
I think that they're trying to have that attitude be a front for her actual fear on things, but they're also not good at portraying that in the slightest. So
it's like, based on what we've seen, like she's a raider who goes out of her way to cause villages to get overrun by Grimm, she actually kinda does Salem's job better.
She steals supplies from villages in all across Anima, keeps the camp moving. She's the leader of the bandits now, and Crow was supposed to be with her, but you know.
But he decided
let's go into the backstory here that Crow and Raven went to Beacon in the first place to learn how to kill huntsmen.
And that's so ludicrous to me.
It makes perfect sense though.
And then they formed a team, and Raven kind of just went along with that for a bit.
because they were clued in on what's really going on. Raven pissed off.
Eventually, because she was a part of Team Stark.
And had a child.
Yeah.
That she saved once and then left to die.
Continuum. I found a meme the other day. So you know how the joke is that Tai Yang impregnated his entire team?
Oh no.
Entire team. So Tai Yang got Yang from Raven, Ruby from Summer, and in this meme comic I saw, Bennett, the really unlucky kid from Genshin Impact, is apparently Crow's son.
Oh God, no!
Because if you look at Bennett for long enough, it's like, if Taiyang and Crow did somehow create something, it might turn out looking like a bit like Bennett, and Bennett's woefully unlucky.
Yeah, that's true.
Bennett has luck on par with goddamn Doofenshmirtz. He's unlucky that neither of his parents can show up for his birth.
Oh no, he's so unlucky that his C6 is actually a detriment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, we're talking about RWBY here.
I know, I just thought it was really funny. I use humor as a coping mechanism because RWBY makes me angry. Because it's like, and this is going to come up a lot. RWBY, much like a lot of fiction I like, is a universe I like, mostly, but the story it's telling is one I don't like.
It's got a lot of pieces to it. It's got a lot of like the naming rule, the fact that aura,
the color naming rule is so infuriating.
It's infuriating because they don't do it well.
It's like, what? Okay, hold on. I know that Salem and Oz predate this, but we don't even have to look at them. So, what color is Tyrion? Or Kalos?
There's also the thing that the villains, I don't think they gave a shit.
They gave a shit enough for Hazel, and he was kind of a villain.
Is Hazel the one with the
Gretel thing?
And Cinder's definitely a villain, and her name
Cinderella.
is Cinder, Ashen, like gray, like ashes.
Cinder Fall.
And fall leaves, autumn leaves.
Which she probably picked herself.
Let me. Doesn't Hazel literally say that?
Is Hazel the one with the rocks coming out of his arms?
No, he's the one that sticks rocks in his arms.
Ah, gotcha.
His semblance is full pain nullification, and he uses that to absorb dust into his body, which leads to some badass-looking scenes, not necessarily in arcs that I like. But like I said, it's a universe I like.
Right. There's a lot to it, and it is like the fact that the map. Let me say, have you guys really seen the map of Remnant? Because it looks pretty nice.
Drop that shit in group chat.
2 of the islands are dragons. Also,
and then I'm gonna tell you about where the map actually, like what the original form of the map was.
This map is kind of pixelized, but it's basically accurate.
Okay, it looks like dragon on one side,
and
chimera
original
shorts on another, a jellyfish that is menagerie, a helicopter that is this continent where Atlas resides.
Solitas.
What?
Or Solitus. Also, we've been saying Solitus wrong for like a long time. It's Solitus.
No.
But we've been saying Solitos.
Solitos, because that's how Weiss says it.
Well,
in the show.
Well, I mean, Weiss isn't
so I'm
the
gonna
smartest.
Say Solitos.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
She's also from Atlas.
Also, I do want to say that Crow is also from Anima and pronounces it Anima.
Guys.
Well, he's not.
Whatever.
Guys,
What's up?
the continent of sanus. If you take the S out of there, it says
it's anus.
Now,
Unus
anus.
Let me get back.
Yeah.
Okay.
The origin of the map, which was this fucking ketchup stain on a napkin.
He's not kidding, by the way.
Yeah, I remember.
In case people want context of the creative madness that was Monty Ohm, this was a ketchup stain he accidentally made that became the basis for this world.
What did he eat?
Something with ketchup.
What?
Obviously.
Why was he so messy with it?
It's a napkin.
What? He got it everywhere.
Okay, not all of them have to be the same stain.
All right.
I put a picture of it in the chat.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
Also, it's like editing Wolfhead. Make sure to put these images up for context, so we're not just rambling about dumb stuff.
If not, like, put it on the screen in this. Oh, wait, it's not a stream; it's a recording, right?
Yeah.
Edit and post.
I will edit it in post.
If it ever gets put up.
If it ever gets put up, that is correct.
Oh god, we should have waited for a minute to pass before I talked about Ravens.
Anyway, so we have a RWBY Volume 1 and 2. Obviously, that they're not super serious. They're not super silly. It's a fun web series, and that's how it started.
It's like Red vs. Blue, but with tweens.
Yeah, the entirety of the 16 episodes that make up season 1 is 2 hours.
Yeah,
which is
and
pretty
it's around
wild.
the same amount of time for season 2.
Happier times.
Happier
When
times.
like you looked at it's like happier times when all you really went to RWBY for was to get more of that sweet fucking Monty Ohm animation.
Like a mech fight that was really well done, or
like
Zwei a dog turning into a fireball.
Yeah, because more pre-context for the uninitiated. So Monty Ohm started with Rooster Teeth as an animator for some of the scenes in Red vs. Blue that weren't just, the in-game footage with the guys moving around. Like, they got smooth fight scene animations that would be just impossible in Halo gameplay without going into a cutscene. So this guy basically animated Red vs. Blue cutscenes, and then soon enough, entire animated arcs that went side by side with the normal Red vs. Blue antics. So that's how you got to start with them. And also, Rooster Teeth's animation department exists because of Monty.
He was, he's pretty much the start of their animation department.
Yeah, and then
we'll get to more on that later.
Yeah, but for now, it's like all of that is context because like a big thing about RWBY was its fight choreography, which was done by Monty and also a select few by this guy called Shane, who we'll talk about later as well.
Okay.
And the stuff they animated rocks. And that was the point. That's what.
Put up some fucking clips.
Yeah, it's like the stuff they made, the fights. That's what RWBY was. It's like because, admittedly, anything outside of the fights was a bit
It was jank as shit.
But Monty animates fights, or Monty animated fights. May he rest in peace. But that's what you were there for. That was the main attraction, and they were good, awesome fights. Everybody was color coded.
The 4 trailers, that was Monty's work.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Red trailer has more views than a lot of RWBY's content on YouTube combined. Or had that at some point.
Damn.
The Red trailer, as in the preamble introducing RWBY's character.
Yeah.
Who, for some reason, would never fight that effectively again in the rest of the show.
Ever. Literally ever. She is the literally, Volume 8 RWBY would have her absolute ass beat by Red Trailer RWBY without a condom.
Literally! Who is literally her from a year ago at this point, in a timeline sense, I think.
A year and a half ago of in-universe time where she's been more trained, where we're supposed to be everyone's supposed to be getting progressively stronger to fight this ultimate immortal evil.
Yeah.
And they just can't do anything correctly. I'm not convinced they could drink a glass of water anymore.
And that actually brings us to our first big thing about a critique of RWBY, which is power incontinence and power scaling incontinence within RWBY's timeline. As we just said, RWBY from the Red trailer is the best RWBY ever gets in terms of being a combatant. Even when she unleashes the full power of her secret Sharingan, Silver Eyes.
Jello Apocalypse.
It's like, even when she's doing that and should be more effective against what she was trained to fight.
I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. The 4 trailers were developed almost entirely by Monty and Shane.
Oh, so that was both of them.
Yes.
I can see it. Those guys, again, they worked magic. Like, magic happened on that screen when you watched those videos.
According to, I don't know in other sources where this might be, but according to a letter we're gonna get by Shane that we're gonna get into later, part of Monty's workflow as he was animating shit, he would have 5 monitors or something in the background just constantly playing footage of fighting games, anime stuff, and just always rolling.
It's like
with inspiration.
It's good to have a reference. It's good to have your reference not constantly in your face, but constantly adjacent to you so you can look back to it. And obviously it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, just see some of the stuff he did, like Haloid. I remember a crossover between Final Fantasy and I can't remember the other one. All I know is they were very similar. And then obviously the RWBY trailers, there was also his contributions to Red vs. Blue, all of that. Like, you can tell that this man lived, breathed, and fucking bled awesome fight choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of just makes the later volumes when he's not around kind of sad, because you can almost tell that they're missing something.
Sag in chat.
They are missing animation quality. Like they're missing it. Like the overall quality of their general animation is they basically took all of the distilled awesomeness that was in the fight scenes and the trailers and just kind of spread it out over everything, and then that's the general quality, if not a little more. Because the fight scenes suffered for it, obviously.
Yeah, because we won't be the first, and we'll never be the last to tell you that volumes 1 through 3, while their fight animation was good, you'd be hard pressed to find anything else that
the run cycle was dog shit.
Yeah, the run cycle was weird. Things like the characters moving in a way that obviously didn't line up with the backdrop was weird. I remember a scene where one character runs to another, don't remember exactly who, but when they get close enough, they literally shrink down into the actual world space they're supposed to be in, and you can see them scale down.
Yeah, that was volume 3. That was volume 3. That was, I think it was RWBY and Blake going to Weiss's side.
Yeah.
As they're kneeling down, you can see them scale.
Yeah. Also, the reason we're bringing all of this up in a kind of disjointed way is so that everybody has the context that we're willing to say that RWBY has always struggled in areas. That's not what this hellfire we're going to unleash more and more as we go is about. Nothing is ever perfect. It's what we're saying is RWBY didn't get better.
Yeah, it's also to say that this is disjointed because not only is there no script, but how many out of the 4 people here have ADHD or autism?
I have ADHD. I don't think I have the second one.
And I'm about to channel all of that neurodivergent energy into strangely enough fighting my urge to be the worst. And then being the worst anyway.
My autism levels have reached 100%.
Also, Continuum, since you brought up Blake, I'm going to do another really jarring segue, because I like giving people headaches and whiplash, to talk about something I believe that among this group I might be alone in. But I want to put my pitch out and then accept rebuttals, because I know the way I word it is a weird take, but what I mean isn't. I'm going to talk about Adam Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, more pre-context. Adam Taurus sucks. Adam Taurus is a massive twat. His voice actor never did VA before Adam Taurus, and you can tell. No offense, my guy.
At least not to our knowledge. Please correct if we're wrong.
Please correct if we're wrong. But, like, if we're wrong, how?
Also, please link proof.
Yes. It's like, don't worry, fucking Continuum will provide Wolfhead with, like, every citation, because Continuum is very diligent when it comes to these things. Like, he finds stuff I didn't even know existed, and I look on the wiki sometimes when I forget. I forgot her name again. Carly. I'm sorry.
Alright.
Carly Belladonna.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, so Adam Taurus is a bad person. RWBY never makes it a secret that he's a bad person. He is a bad person who does have a reason to be bad, but he's also a terrorist, which is never good. He's a Faunus, in case you're wondering. Faunus are people people who like to do animal cosplay, but they took it so seriously that they kind of grafted these things onto themselves. I'm joking, obviously. They were born like that. I was joking. No. They're born with those things.
Yeah, no. If you don't have the context in RWBY of what the Faunus are, you just kind of need to watch RWBY.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I'm giving all these tidbits so that, like, you know, the more questions someone has, the more they'll look. Because I feel like if I give them reason that outmatches the sheer amount of turnoff that the first 3 volumes have because of particular reasons that I know exist, it'll push them to learn more. Okay, because I do know, because a lot of people have said that seasons 1 through 3 of RWBY are a turnoff for one reason or another. Which surprises me, because anything past those is also a turnoff for a completely different reason.
Yeah, I want to say that if you're there for the fights, you can safely just be there for only the fights.
Yeah.
Like, the story isn't really anything super special.
God,
even when it starts, and it's just getting worse from here.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so it's like circling back to Angry Bull Man. Yeah. Circling back to Angry Bull Man, I have opinions. Okay. Dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing.
Okay.
But my opinions actually run contrary to the consensus. Very slightly, because the consensus is that Adam is the worst. And that is true. However, that's only part of that consensus. The overall consensus is that Adam's always been the worst, and he's an abusive, shitty boyfriend, and blah, blah, blah. And I believe, and this is where my thing changes from the consensus, I believe that Adam is a terrible person. But I don't believe he was terrible because he was domestically abusive. I never really thought that was what he was until the kick the dog moment he had while he fought Yang and Blake in volume 7?
Volume 6.
Volume 6. Which is one of my all-time favorite fights in the show. So, you know, I can find things I still don't like and things I love. But for anyone curious, the kick the dog moment is when Adam yells at Blake saying, "Why couldn't you just behave?" Which, to me, had no grounding or pre-context. No, it was a kick the dog moment. It was to make him somehow more of a dick. Now, the reason I don't like it isn't because, oh, look, another domestically abusive boyfriend. How will our female protagonist ever overcome the blah, blah, blah? It's like, that's not why I don't like it. Because I don't know if that's what Rooster Teeth was even intending with it, because they win and he dies. So, but the reason it bothers me is that Adam
they threw an entire motorcycle directly at his dick.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Like, does not justify the statement, but I don't think the statement should have been there because Adam, at this point in the narrative, is already a traitor to his own faction, the White Fang. He
A traitor to
is
life in general.
he is a homicidal, actual terrorist
Yeah.
who partook in assaults on 2 whole kingdoms full of people just to kill humans.
Yeah.
He's always looking for an excuse to kill humans. And is like earlier I did say that his anger is justified, but his actions aren't. The reason for that is that also in that Volume 6 fight, Adam has a scar from a Schnee Dust Company brand that someone branded on his face because he was once a slave to the Schnee Dust Company, which is why he hates humans, which honestly, fair. But this is where I get into why I hate Adam's characterization, because it could have been really good and interesting and compelling, but he was made to be the worst, and then they made him an abusive boyfriend right at the end just because. What they should have done, or what I would have done, was make it so that you really have that, oh, I get it, but also you're still a terrorist. Because he was a slave to a company that keeps slaves, and keeping slaves is bad on an objective level, and everyone can agree with that.
Yeah.
So yes, the people who kept those slaves deserve to suffer, but Adam kills humans seemingly at random, and that's the problem. However, I thought it would have been really cool if Yang and Blake versus Adam had a bit more of an ideological back and forth, with Adam actually having the ability to call out Blake on the idea that, oh, just because she met one good human, everything all those other humans did is suddenly okay. Because that would have been interesting. Because then he can then he could flip the script to be like, everyone thinks I'm a traitor to the White Fang, but you betrayed me and the people I fought for just because you think this human's really pretty. They could have done that. They didn't do that. They probably should have done that. It would have been interesting. And there's also like a smaller point that I saw in a Reddit post that was really funny, that I know is a joke, but I can't help but look back on it and think that's probably what Rooster Teeth was relying on, because I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. And that is that you could gender swap Blake and Adam, change little else about their characters, and suddenly Adam is right and Blake is wrong. I'm not saying I 100% believe that, but I believe that is the reaction a lot of people would have for such a small difference. Even if I myself wouldn't. And I know Continuum had some pushback on this when I brought it up a while back.
I feel like that point in its entirety, if literally the only thing you do is swap their genders, then suddenly Adam is correct. I think that's some incel shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some incel logic. It's like, oh, just because women, they can do anything. And that's...
Well, no, I'm not saying that's actually the big thing. I'm saying that a lot of people would react like that. A lot of people who watch RWBY would react like that.
And like that in its entirety, without any other kind of nuance to it, just switching them and then suddenly one's right and the other isn't. That's, I think, a really shitty take, but it seems like there would be a lot more lenience if it was changed to be, if it was changed in a way that was even remotely realistic, and Adam was, and they gender swapped the two. Like, in the first place, Adam's behavior is fucking atrocious and does not align with any character previously built up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because like initially he was a revolutionary fighter who
he was very violent.
He's very violent, and he had a general apathy towards human life.
Yeah, because of what they put him through.
yeah, like we didn't know at the time, like all that what was set up in the initial Black trailer was that, you know, he and Blake worked together. And he had a general apathy towards human life, and that is why she left.
Yeah.
And that means that he wasn't always even like that. Like, and then it's later showed that he wasn't even always trying to kill people. He might have had a general apathy, or he might have just wanted justice, but then that sense of justice got twisted, and they could have told a much better character story with it if they had gone along with that instead of
abusive boyfriend.
being creepily like abusive ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
Like because when they
Cool
was
abilities,
like
cool character design, bad voice actor,
or execution.
very poor execution.
Because
Good
like it's the reason
execution though.
Because like the reason
execution.
And I do want to say, because again, when I brought up that thing with Blake and Adam, I didn't do it so that I could try and grandstand this idea that Rooster Teeth are violent misandrists, because I don't believe that.
Not.
Because Rooster Teeth couldn't be misandrists because they're too busy being the opposite of a misandrist.
Yeah, for sure.
But
and also
the reason I
really
brought both
shitty.
those things up is to establish a sort of overarching theme that I noticed going into volume 7 and 8, more 8 than 7, and that's something I kind of realized has always been a thing, but because the themes were always tamer, it never really went that far. But morality in RWBY pretends to be complex, but the closer you get to an actual situation where it should be complex, morality becomes very fixed, but not in a way that makes sense. To give you an example, Genocide General, and this is also a nice segue into Genocide General. Something I despise because it has this one problem with it. Ironwood is only a bad guy because they needed a bad guy, and it infuriates me. So
Ironwood's change of personality has no setup, no foreshadowing in any way, and is so drastic that it's just ridiculous.
It's like and it's not held by the fact that like the people he fights against almost act like he always wanted to be a bad guy, which would feel weird if it didn't feel like Rooster Teeth wanted to treat it like he was always the bad guy, because he goes from I'm trying to do the best I can, we're going to launch this satellite and there's going to be all of us, it'll be like that time I sent all of those soldiers to Beacon, but this time I'm not sending an army to somebody else's home and telling them it's fine. I'm turning all the lights back on. It went from that into I'm going to blow up the city below my city if you don't give me what I want. Why? I don't know, because hold on, picks up the script. Yeah, give me the maiden.
It literally went from the greater good to I just want to do this because I
No.
Yeah, no, okay.
This is what has to be done. It's difficult, but we have to go through it, and then everyone will be better off for it. It went from that to I'm gonna nuke a city, or you're gonna help me leave a city to die.
Yeah, because when the scene happens and he reveals he wants to blow up Mantle, two things occur. He shoots down every Schneid Dust Company ship that another character, quite cleverly, sent to go and evacuate everyone away from all of the death, destruction, and chaos. He shoots them all down for no fucking reason. Doesn't even know why they're moving. He just knows that they're moving. And then he
knows why they're moving. That's why he shoots them down. He knows that they're moving because of evac plans, and decides to shoot them down.
And then he gives an ultimatum speech, but the person he was aiming it at is asleep, by the way. I know.
Whatever.
I just think that's really hilarious. And his ultimatum is just like Continuum said, give me what I want so I can leave Mantle to slowly die to the Grim, or I'm going to blow it up immediately and super efficiently with this bomb I have. And it's just what? So
It's
the
like
options you're
Mantle
giving me
dies or
are
dies faster.
no, it's like, and it's even worse because the options he gives are give me what I want and die slowly, or defy me and die immediately. I like, if I'm going to die anyway, I'd probably want to do it faster. Wouldn't you all agree? You know, painless, immediate.
Yeah, probably.
Explosive.
I don't want to
Yeah.
like die slow and be like drawing my last, like drawing out my every breath.
So
every
if
five
I
like
seconds.
mauled by a grim saber-toothed tiger.
And
Yeah.
it's like, if as a bonus I get to screw over the genocide general, because then he'll lose what he was after in the first place, done deal. Bring the bomb. You colossal, mischaracterized waste of potential.
I thought you were gonna call him a colossal miscarriage. I'd be like, whoa.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say his father should have wiped his on the curtains. But Ironwood was good. Ironwood was a character I liked because up until his turn to the Genocide General, which quite hilariously, RWBY's writers said they wanted to make realistic and satisfying, neither of which happened, and you could not tell me for a moment they were trying. At all.
It's not like tears are in your eyes.
He was so good. They're not.
You seem
I
so
feel like
passionate.
I physically can't. I feel like I physically can't at this point because I wouldn't shed a tear for this travesty. But fucking Ironwood, up until he turns, is just amazing. Talking about these big plans he has. He wants to team up with these people. He wants to right all of the wrongs that he blames himself for. He wants to take accountability and he wants to fix things. The fucking Amity satellite project was the ultimate fix for the tower going down.
And it worked.
Kinda.
In spite of him.
Exactly. And it's like, my problem with Genocide General is that he became a villain because they needed a villain, and the way it was written was literally he's a bad guy now because he was mean to the main cast, basically.
Yeah, no,
After
literally,
they lied to him, went behind his back, took every opportunity to criticize what he was doing, and be the least patient fuckers with the guy who, for all intents and purposes, had all the cards and handed them half of them.
Yeah. Also, not to mention, how suspicious can you make yourself when in front of two guards while you're in handcuffs you say we have to be careful with what we say, and then someone else says we'll follow your lead.
And then
in
he
an
does.
enclosed space where the guards who can hear you are definitely within earshot.
I just remembered this is why I said this is similar to that Reddit thing I brought up with Adam and Blake, because both with Ironwood and with Ozpin, we see a very distinct it's okay when certain people break the rules, and this isn't even a gender thing anymore because the good guys are varied enough. Because it's like Ozpin tells a lot of lies because if he told the truth, people would lose hope, lay down, and let the flood come. However, later on, when RWBY is presented with the opportunity to tell the truth to someone whose trust they need, he decides, I'm just going to do exactly what Oz did. Tells exactly the same lies that he did, plus a little bit extra, but it's okay because it's the main character this time. And if you take that context and go into the Genocide General arc with that, it makes it the main protagonist's fault that a new antagonist is made. So, Genocide General is not only asinine and stupid and worthless and just so we can have another villain, but it was, if you buy into it, caused by the heroes of the story on a whim.
Pretty much. Originally, I liked that RWBY ended up starting those lies, because I thought it was going to go down a path of maybe he was right. Maybe he was right to lie because we don't know who we can trust.
Exactly.
And I thought it was going to do that at first. So that was it. I thought it was very good. Then they didn't do that, and then Ironwood turned.
They decided to twist it into the same BS that basically he caused.
Pretty much.
Sorry, that was a phone boom.
You.
I'm aware.
You.
There goes Mantle, by the way. Anyway.
Yeah, but but yeah, no.
Let me get back to what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
There was oh god.
Did you forget it?
Now you vine boomed it out of my life.
Damn it.
With Ironwood, I'm trying to jog my own memory here.
You had just got done talking about how the lies would have made sense if it led to an understanding of Ozma's motivations, but it didn't. So it wasn't good. It could have been good, but it wasn't. You just got through explaining that, and then Nick had said something, and then the vine boom.
Yeah. But it led to the same. It led to complete bullshit. When right now I know what I was gonna say. So the only reason Ironwood had to be a villain is because it seemed like the writers wrote themselves into a fucking corner where if everyone actually worked together, they would have pushed Salem's attack away.
It's another punch down, which is another thing I hate about RWBY's story, because you can is like real quick. If you like, is like anyone who plans on watching RWBY, despite all we've said, please give it a look so you can understand it the way I do. I want you to play a game. I want you to play a game. Every time you see the main cast achieve a big victory, I want you to start a timer. And the moment a big punch down comes their way, I want you to stop that timer and jot down the time. Because I swear, each time that happens that I would count, the gap between the victory and the punch down is 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to the one that irritates me the most.
Yeah.
After we're done talking about the Genocide General.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. Now, this whole shit with Ironwood is so ridiculous too, because it's on the basis of his semblance, Metal, which...
That was a retroactive thing. I'm sorry, I do have to cut in. Metal was a retcon. Sorry.
I have a feeling that they were intending on it in the first place, and that's fine. They not only overplayed it, but had no foreshadowing or reference to it in the show. The only reason we know that Metal is why he is doing this is because it was in an interview.
Which is why I believe it was retconned.
I don't think it was retconned. I think they were too stupid to put in foreshadowing.
I don't like to think of the writers as stupid. I like to think of the writers as thinking they can do damage control better than they actually can.
I don't know if you want to die on that hill that you don't want to call the writers stupid with some of the other decisions.
Well, I mean, if I call them stupid, then they have the defense of not knowing any better. But if I call them, if I say they think they're cunning when they're not, then I feel like that makes more sense, because I feel like you can look to anything they failed to properly address and look at it from a sense of, oh, they tried this, failed, and then tried to cover it up and kind of drop the whole thing. Like the Faunus, who was supposed to be an allegory of systemic racism, but then they realized that they didn't like that one of the main characters was a massive racist, so they dropped that and completely changed her character over the course of an episode. Rather than giving her an arc where she becomes a better person. They also failed.
Sped up the character growth a little too much.
There was no character arc. It
wasn't a character arc. It was a character kiddie slide.
The character arc was about as thin as if you hold a needle straight up and then you draw a curve around up and down that. It's like it was instantaneous.
It's just you couldn't tiptoe within the minimum distance of that character arc, quote unquote.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there is a case that people do change, and on some issues change very rapidly when given when just the right words are said to them that really resonate with them.
But not within the 5 seconds it takes for someone to tell you you're being a dick.
Yeah, no. However, it was not it was written in a way that was very much not satisfying.
It's like she got condescended to by a teacher and then got over herself, and it's like, really?
That was
If it was
that was on that was on the Ruby's leadership thing. The racism thing was different.
oh god, she didn't even talk to anyone there. She just said to
talked
Blake,
Yang.
it's like she talked to Yang probably. They
Over the
flash
course
cut
of a
away
day.
from that,
They
and
didn't
it's just
show it,
like,
but it was over the course of a day. Yeah.
and it's like also another thing that's unsatisfying for is what she says to Blake. She doesn't say I'm sorry. She doesn't say I should reevaluate how I think about these things. She said I will be nicer.
I think that's more of an anime-ism though.
Probably.
And why was it in English? Why was it in the? Well, I mean,
No. I mean, like the writing, like the base writing being an anime-ism. It's like, it's more of a joke kind of thing that really
Also,
means something a little more significant.
Yeah,
Can I
I'm
also
with
bring up
Continuum on that.
Nicer.
and it's just like, yeah, no, that left a bad taste in my mouth. Then again, a lot of what Weiss was before they turned her into not a massive bitch in the span of 5 seconds is
Just useless.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I bring that up because it's like for me, it's never a place of stupidity. It's a place of overconfidence but lack of competence. I don't think RWBY is stupid. I think they are not capable of tackling the issues they've tried to tackle in RWBY, such as, again, racism, post-traumatic stress disorder, alcoholism, Darwinism. And in the case of Metal, unknowingly dipping their toes into neurodivergency, because Metal's description is a facet of neurodivergency.
Specifically hyperfocus.
Exactly.
And which is fair, but it's like it's imposed hyperfocus on a level that no actual person ever faces, which, to be fair, no actual person ever faces most of what's in RWBY. So,
well, I mean, it's fair to say that, but like you could also say that the robots in Detroit Become Human are neurodivergent past the point that any human can manage.
They're also not human, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that story was another straw man's racism thing because robot racism.
I'm not gonna comment much on that because I'm not very familiar with that game's storyline and everything that goes on in it.
Continuum, can I tell you about something about Detroit Become Human real fast?
Sure.
Yeah, there is a way you can end that game by, and I swear to God, because I saw this happen on a Twitch stream, you can end that game by, there's a prompt that pops up that lets you stop all the chaos that's happening, and you stop it by singing, and everyone just starts singing with you.
What?
I swear to God.
I should point out I haven't played Detroit Become Human more than I've watched videos on it. But what?
Yeah, yeah.
That's another that's gonna.
That is not an ending I've seen.
Yeah, you gotta look for it.
Some research to do, and then that's the next podcast.
God, no. I refuse. I'm only talking about RWBY because I love its universe and hate its story. I don't like Detroit Become Human's universe or story, so I refuse to talk about Detroit Become Human except in passing like I'm doing right now. So instead...
Okay, I don't want to hurry. I don't want to hurry you guys, but like this video recording is going a little long, so let's tumble on into why Penny dying twice is the dumbest thing ever. Go.
I get to talk about Penny now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Oh.
That's the first time. Understandably.
The first time it's
fine.
The first time it's fine.
It's stupid. I hate it, but it works for what it's going.
It was okay for the story.
Yeah.
I need an area on this stage real quick.
Just 1 second. And I also want to bring up that having her come back was not actually a problem in the way that they brought her back because it made enough sense.
Yes.
However,
we were okay with it. And then they decided to Kill
Nick.
her again.
Yeah,
Nick.
okay.
There
I
you go,
wanna say-
Logic. Have the open
yeah.
floor.
It's that they brought her back and that was fine. However, okay, Logic, take it away.
It's time. So, let's set the scene.
Yeah.
Team RWBY has just, for all intents and purposes, duped a fucking demigod into creating them a human being from nothing.
Yep.
By taking a soul that doesn't have a body, and because the soul has to have a body, get creative, mister. I need very specific instructions.
Yeah.
Morons.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna make it a oh shit. I'm gonna make it a human body. Why not? Fucking almost busted my headset, sorry. But so, I'm that angry right now. So, Penny is human.
Yeah.
I'm skipping over all the maiden bullshit because this is where it bothers me. So,
Yeah.
shut up. So, Penny is human. A living, breathing, and as you'll find out later, bleeding human.
Yeah.
They are alive. They
Yeah.
experience the warmth of hugs. They experience true feelings and sensation, and they still have the power of yet another demigod hanging around in their system. In which lies the problem, because it has to be just like Beacon again, and Winter has to be the Winter Maiden, which means Penny has to die. And
Yeah.
how do they do this? With one of RWBY's patented 15-minute long afterglows of victory into a fucking punchdown, where, during a fight, Penny gets wounded-ish, and the only solution she can think of isn't to run to the portal, which is one way for some reason. Fucking Weiss. But, stab me, Jean. Your healing that has worked on everyone else throughout the entire franchise since you got it cannot work on me somehow, so just stab me and kill me.
Stab me, John.
So,
Stab me, Jean. You're my only hope.
so, quick context. Or quick thing. One thing you gotta know about me. I despise, from the center of my soul, from the darkest reaches of my innermost thoughts, wasting potential. Think about the potential of a human living Penny for a moment. Someone who can live, laugh, love, grow, and die happy, experiencing true humanity after being a machine. That would have been pretty good, right?
Yeah, you know, have Winter train her.
But what do we get instead? Penny having a little Avatar The Last Airbender style powwow with Winter, who's currently getting her chin checked by fucking Ironwood, because that's a whole thing that's happening.
The worst designed combo weapon of all fucking time.
It's two guns that make a discount BFG. So now you know what the Doom references were for. But so Penny talks to Winter in this little spirit space they have, again, very Atla. And she explains that, you know, I'm giving you this power and I'm going to be a part of you. And I bet RWBY thought they really did something there, didn't they? Let me tell you what they did. They took RWBY's most interesting character, took their soul and put it into the show's least interesting character, and tried to tell me it was fair and I should be happy. People want to say I'm biased and bitter. Goddamn fucking right I'm bitter. That could have been great. That could have been amazing. Penny could have been amazing. But no, because it's got to be just like Beacon again. Suck every fucking inch, you fucking hacks.
Which I would like to point out, from the get-go, upon saying the line, "It's just like Beacon again," I fucking called it.
It's not very hard to call a neon green sign.
It's like right in front of your face.
I wanted to believe that they would not.
I will also point out, Logic was the only one who didn't fight me on that.
I wanted to so bad. I wanted to believe. It's like I wanted to believe that RWBY would just not be shitters this time. That we could have had something really cool, a really cool hook. But no. Although I should probably be thankful because they probably fucked that up too.
I do want to interject and say something about this. I'm not very informed on if this was entirely Kirby's decisions with this writing, or if it was orders from from executives, from higher ups at Rooster Teeth. If that was the case, I'm not really upset at the writers because they were probably given a framework with which they were forced to work, and just had to make it as bearable as possible.
They failed.
Yeah.
There was nothing bearable.
It was the thing is, if they were given a framework where all these plot points had to be hit and they were fucking awful plot points, like Penny having to die again, and the portal being
why even bring her back?
To kill her again. Anyway,
it was part of the minimum
because
requirements.
We know for a fact that Rooster Teeth execs have had a hand in controversy and stupid writing decisions, like in Genlock. In season 2, a character is pretty much confirmed as LGBT and then dies in the same episode 5 minutes later.
Oh god, they graduated to 5 minutes later between Victory and Punchdown? Damn.
Not even just that's not Victory Punchdown. That is a character being confirmed as LGBT and then dying. I think they speed ran that shit.
And then
Controversy percent speed run.
It's like, and then their response when someone came to them with concerns was controversy is good.
Exactly. So if I do want to say that if this was just RWBY and the writing staff deciding to make this shit plot, fuck you, you're awful at your job. If it was an order from higher ups and execs, I'm sorry for you, because you didn't have much to go off of.
And it's even worse because something we did say we were going to try and get to, but then Wolfhead was like time constraints, something. But I think instead of getting really into it, if you want to see why if you want to see, if you want to see why what we just talked about with the controversy is good leads me to believe that everything within the letter the Wolfhead's going to link down in the description of this video is true. Read Shane's letter. Look for it in the description. I'll pester Wolfhead until he puts it there. Okay. Find it on your own. Just Google Shane's letter. Right, it's like, just whatever you need to read this thing, because until I learned just how much smarm and scum operates Rooster Teeth, I probably wouldn't have believed this letter. But oh boy, do I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So you should read. And anyone who has even a semblance of care for this franchise in any way, read this letter and share it around.
Okay.
Because, my god.
We're very late on this info. This open letter is old. Like, we're very late on knowing about this. If you don't know about it, though, and you care about the franchise, give it a read. It's a story that goes back far. It's more a letter to people who treasured Monty Ohm. So it's a letter. It goes all the way back to there it is, 2007.
Oh,
and
damn.
It goes through events that are all the way through when this person was let go from Rooster Teeth in 2016.
Fucking vultures didn't even wait.
And it's very sad, and I do want to also say, do not just read the letter and believe every bit of it. Make sure to... I believe it personally because knowing about how Rooster Teeth has had countless fucking allegations against them, like how calling people slurs in their offices, or like not paying people enough, not paying people on time, crunch time. That's pretty much summarized and is in this letter. There's references to the crunch time. There's references to people not being paid. I know about the crunch time one. I'm not entirely 100% sure on the people not being paid, if that's in there or not.
I'd believe it. At this point, like I said, is like, I don't care anymore. As far as I'm concerned, scum is scum.
It's that these things are it's not just this one person that's saying these things about Rooster Teeth, so their evidence it seems a lot more true. And Shane is one of the people who worked closest with Monty.
He's the guy we talked about before.
Yeah, him and Monty did most of the work on the trailers, and he's one of the people that was the lifeblood of this of the animation. And they kind of fired him because he was, I'm editorializing, because he was basically being uppity and thought he knew better, which he did, but that's beside the point.
It's like fucking that hurts even more because I remember conversations I used to have with friends about they're following Monty's vision as best they can, and after reading that letter, it's like, no, they're not. They were waiting for him to die. In fact, they didn't even wait for him to die. The fucking vultures.
Yeah. There are things in this letter that say that they started throwing out Monty's notes about Volume 3 before he'd even died, when he was in the hospital.
It's almost like they knew, which fucks with my head.
I think they just took the opportunity and were going to freight train through with it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me as well.
Even if Monty was still around, and
way to ruin.
And Rooster Teeth has the audacity to continue to put Monty's name on this show that is not anywhere close to what he would have written it as. I don't like people saying, "Oh, but Monty would have done this. Monty would." I'm not saying what he would have specifically done. All I am saying is it wouldn't be this bad.
Yeah.
It's because people saying, "Oh, you have to do it this way because this is obviously how a dead person would have done it."
It's like,
that's shitty.
Yeah, it's like, don't use the name of a dead man don't use the name of a dead man like a hammer. The only reason we're bringing up here is because we have well corroborated proof from someone who works side by side with the guy that what Rooster Teeth is doing is scummy. But if you're going to complain about any random thing and staple someone's name to it just for an edge, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Also, I try to limit my complaints at least to more specifically the things that were written in this letter that Monty had planned to do, so that it's literally Monty would have done it this way because it's he would have. And people shouldn't really use his name like that because they also really weren't involved with Monty. Unless if people were involved with working with Monty, like Shane, they can say shit like that. Or like Monty's wife, who they kicked out of the franchise, by the way.
They literally went out of their way to push away as much of Ruby's true lifeblood as possible, and then fucked it up and tried to tell us it was fair.
I also want to encourage anyone, if you're thinking about buying RWBY merch, do not buy any merch from RWBY from Rooster Teeth. If money's going to Rooster Teeth and it's RWBY merch, just don't touch it. If it's going to someone who actually gives a damn, I don't know. It's just don't give Rooster Teeth money for RWBY. Their merch is way too expensive for them to be bastardizing the story like this.
Okay.
I didn't realize how little time we had because Wolfhead never gave us a timeline.
Yeah, the podcast episodes are usually like an hour long.
How long have we been at this?
At most.
Yeah, at most an hour. But I want to I want to stir the conversation into something fun, and then we'll stop the podcast, which is still RWBY related, or at least it's fun for me anyway. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this question. Who do you think is the next character to die?
Actually, since the group's gone to Wonderland, I don't think we have to worry about anyone dying that we care about.
I would hope Cinder, but that's just a hope, honestly.
I think it's either going to be Ren or what's his pussy's name? The guy with the healing powers, the support. What's his name?
Wow.
Oh,
You
veteran.
dick.
No. You're a dick.
That's
sorry.
That's
His
just
weapon
fucking.
is broken, and he just had to kill one of the best characters in the series.
Yeah. Where he lost his to-be girlfriend. All right, cry me a goddamn river.
Wolfhead.
Yes.
I want to
He had
say
already
Mercury.
lost his girlfriend in Volume 3. You fucking misanthrope.
Who do you
Which,
think
by
is the
way, he
next
was
character
also
to
supposed
die?
witness.
Who do you think? Who, me?
I'm gonna say Mercury.
You think Mercury?
Maybe
Did
Mercury.
they rid him out of the story? He's not coming back.
No, he
Oh no,
and Tyrion
he's
are going
gonna
to
pop back
vacuum.
up.
It's like
Oh.
He's
he
with
and-
the Scorpion. He's with Scorpion dude.
Yeah, Tyrion. They're going to vacuum.
Yeah,
I think
I want to
Ren's
say
gonna
that
be the next
Mercury's
one
going to
die.
be the next one to end up falling because
I
Tyrion's a
think-
jackass.
I think maybe Ren, yeah, because he has the most character arc complete. Not that that actually means anything.
I mean-
And him and Nora had that little heart to heart, so now it's like
Oh wait, I was about to say, but what about Renora? No, they kind of subtly broke up Renora in Volume 8.
Yeah, because Nora was like, I don't think I'm ready to be your girlfriend. And I was like, okay, that doesn't mean anything.
It wasn't exactly that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I believe her reasoning was that like what
Well,
she
who knows?
said was she wants to figure out who she is without Ren because
Yeah.
it's always been Ren and Nora, which was a bit weird for me. And I kind of just realized, no, it wasn't because Ren was kind of being a dick, because she wasn't around to see him be a dick, because she was too busy fucking.
I think it makes sense, because she literally from the start she's pretty much been attached at the hip with Ren.
Yeah.
And furthermore, back into before the show, back into their childhood, they have been stapled together.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
So
the very
she-
first.
it is reasonable to assume someone would have a personal identity crisis after, so long of being with the same person. It's like, am I anything without this person?
And
Oh,
also.
God, what have I done without them?
Yeah, and also, like, subtle hints. Like, I believe. Like, didn't we go to, like, their backstory and Ren, like, actually took Nora in because Nora used to be, like, homeless or something? Am I
Well,
remembering
no, he
that
took her
correct?
in because their village was being attacked by a supermassive Grim.
And he saved her life. He saved her life by when he unlocked his semblance, he was able to use it to hide himself from Grim, and then he hid both of them by hiding their emotions.
So we
Yeah,
can all
so-
agree that Ren is going to die next, is what you're saying.
Maybe, but it could be.
Maybe
just
you
Nora.
three can.
It's like
I
maybe-
really think Ren is going to die.
if they kill Nora,
I'm gonna be
Like-
pissed if they kill Nora.
it's like if they keep killing all the fun characters, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it, let Salem destroy the world. Because it's like I know I don't care half a shit about Team RWBY anymore because they caused all of this. If you pay attention to the story's actual context.
Also, when it comes to extended media like Arrowfell, it's very, which is a really shitty game.
Expanded media, more like expanded waste of my fucking time.
And it's also $30. Never buy Arrowfell. It's not worth it.
Yeah, go buy, like, a pizza or something.
It's like if you absolutely have to buy it, wait until a Steam sale.
Yeah.
No, buy
Like-
it on like fucking G2A or some shit
Yeah.
for like $2. All it's really fucking worth.
Fucking like
Anyway, regardless though, I don't really. After Shane's letter, I don't much care about the franchising.
I stopped caring about the franchise after Volume 8, dude.
That's the most recent
Just
season.
come get me when Blake and Yang kiss. That's all I'm asking you. When they
they're
kiss,
probably
then
not
come get
gonna.
me.
It's like now that it's
also
like no.
another thing.
Now that we know what Rooster Teeth does with LGBT characters, I wouldn't
I
be
don't want them
surprised if Blake and Yang are actually next for the chopping block.
Oh yeah, for sure. Specifically for queer baiting.
Yeah. Probably.
Also, the writers very, very obviously wanted to go in the direction with Blake's character of having her be with Sun. The writers obviously wanted that because that's the character interactions with them.
Yeah.
It's not that Bumblebee is a bad is a bad relationship. It's
is like
different one.
Bumblebee was not handled properly, and I'm saying this as someone who really likes Bumblebee. I prefer Bumblebee to Black Sun, and obviously to Black Adam, which is technically a ship in the same way that a bullet to the head is technically a means of alleviating a headache. But like, I love Bumblebee, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend that Bumblebee is better than Black Sun.
Right.
So you guys have anything else you want to say before we wrap up? Well, I have a couple of things to say. One, positive note, the music in RWBY is pretty good.
Oh,
yes.
We'll say that.
For sure. Also, the main singer of most of the songs, Casey Lee Williams, has her own band, and you should definitely check it out.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
brother.
Oh my god, Wolfhead, you're gonna have a field day with the links.
Yeah.
The band is called OK Goodnight.
I love that name. I'm already buying all their albums.
And one of the Volume 8 songs, which was unfortunately used in a really bad backstory, Cinder's backstory, the song Awake was actually performed by Casey and her band.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
To my understanding, I'm gonna have to double check that, but it's on. If you look up OK Goodnight, it's one of their songs. So
It is very good.
Well, with that being said, you RWBY boys should say goodbye to my audience, who I'm sure will love this episode.
I'm very sad. Also, this conversation did not get to go on nearly long enough and was not nearly organized enough.
I know. I've been recording for an hour and 30 minutes.
It's like
If I would have known it was so little time, we would have actually written an outline.
It's sorry, like from what I understand, these podcasts aren't scripted anyway.
Yeah.
Not normally.
An actual
So it's
outline,
like-
not a script.
So it's like I imagine this is always as chaotic as this.
Surprisingly enough, no, but there's also not nearly as many people.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I do want to say goodbye to the audience. Apologies for the fucking chaos and everything. I really wish we could have been more comprehensive and in depth there. And thank you for comprehensive and in depth here. And also thank you for your time.
Yeah. Also, Wolfhead, do you have like your Discord server, right? Is that like just a thing, or is that like a Patreon thing?
That's not a Patreon thing, dude. I'm not popular
It's
enough
just
to have a Patreon thing.
If it was, though, if you want to talk more about
If you want to hear more about them go off about how bad RWBY is, make sure to sign up to my Patreon, where I will be releasing 3 alternate episodes about them going off on RWBY. No, there's no Patreon.
Discord, but if there's, is your Discord server like, is it a public thing?
It is a public thing. Mainly, it's mostly for friends. Really, it's a little hangout.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like my fans can't come there.
Right.
Yeah.
Never mind. You're gonna have to edit this part out then.
I'm gonna leave this part in.
Because I didn't know. Because like if it is a thing, it's like if it was a thing or it was a fan thing, it'd be like, hey, join the Discord. You might be able to talk more about this and actually get a coherent conversation instead of chaos.
Maybe in the future. I don't know.
I will say this though.
Yeah.
Most of the podcast episode was just the two of you talking. Wolfen and I just kind of said.
Yeah, it might have well been Logic and Continuum's podcast at that fucking point.
Guys.
Yeah.
I just read something really, really funny.
What?
Oh, good lord!
I was looking at Penny artwork. For some reason, I wasn't posting any of it, but I found a comment on an image on this site, and it says, "Bro, homegirl was only alive for 15 minutes." I ad-libbed 15 minutes the first time I said it. I didn't realize it was actually 15 minutes.
It'll be just like Beacon again. Ah!
Be just like
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Every time she says it'll be just like Beacon again, it should be followed up with this. Just a vine boom. All right, say goodbye. Say goodbye.
This has not been fun. Goodbye.
Later, everyone.
Bye.
See you next month.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.